What's going on, everybody? So today, Kale and I are going to be here reviewing a new series, which is pretty much reviewing winter beaters of mine and my friends' cars and any cars I can pretty much get a hand of and review how good they are for the winter. It's a little cold outside, so we're going to make this outside part quick, and then head in the car and we'll pretty much explain the features and everything. But today, we're pretty much reviewing the 2006 Volvo Kale drives in the winter when he puts his Kia away, because winter cars are extremely necessary in Canada if you like cars whatsoever. Kale drives his 2012 Volvo, or his Kia Forte in the summer, and didn't want to get it all rusty and snowy because Canada winters will destroy cars extremely fast. So today we're going to be reviewing this. I'll do a walk around and then we'll take you inside and pretty much explain the rest of this video. So this is the 2006 Volvo. I believe it's base model, front wheel drive, automatic, nothing crazy to it. What is it then? If it's not base model, what is it?
I don't know.
Base model.
It's not base.
So
it's got the fog lights.
Pretty much got the fire engine red. Pretty beater car. It's exactly what you'd hope for a winter, as you're looking for usually something that is just gonna make it through. It's nothing flashy, it's nothing crazy. It has the original OEM wheels. We tried tinting the head or the tail lights, which you did see in a past video, which will be linked in the description below if you want to see. They turned out better. This is the first time you guys are seeing the lights, so works out well. But nothing really done to the car. Had some things fixed when it was safetied, so it's really a perfect car. How many kilometers are on it?
250.
So there's around 250 on it right now, which is exactly what you're looking for when you first want to buy a beater car, just because it's nothing special. You're just trying to get through the winter and hopefully get through as many winters as you can without having to buy a new car and or fix it, because it is expensive owning a second car. You got to do the second maintenances, new oil changes, stuff like that on two different cars. Volvo isn't cheap. They are considered a luxury brand, so you have to pay for the more expensive parts, stuff like that. But this car has been pretty nice for how long have you had it for? A couple months? 4 months or so, but it's been pretty nice. It's done exactly what it's supposed to do as a winter beater. It hasn't broken down or anything like that. So this is exactly.
So you can reach 170 on the highway.
That's true. There isn't a lot you can really rip in another winter beater, but this is pretty much it for the outside of the car, and we'll start going through the details inside, because our hands are freezing, because for some reason Canada decided to be extremely cold today with the wind chill and the open field. So let's take it inside and we'll do the rest. So in a winter car, everyone pretty much needs them, as we said before, for the winter. If you're anything into cars, if you're a big car enthusiast or whatever, you need to find a winter car in Canada especially, or else your car will be demolished by the salt on the road and just the weather in general. It's just going to demolish your car, rust it out, and you're not going to have it for more than 8 years or so, 5 years. Pretty much what you're looking for. You want to find something preferably with all-wheel drive, just because it does make it a lot easier to catch traction in the winter. There's less slipping, there's less problems in general. Front-wheel drive, you will understeer, you're going to slide, and you're never going to catch traction, especially if it's really snowy and icy and the roads haven't been salted, say you're going in the morning. But you want to find all-wheel drive. If you want to look for automatic or manual, is very dependent on the driver. They each have their pros and cons, as automatic is better for less experienced manual drivers. It's harder to catch traction right at the beginning, but you can control the amount of torque that your car's putting out, so you can catch traction later on faster than an automatic would. Automatic will catch faster off the line, but they could slip here and there just out of the blue. So when you're also looking for a winter car, you want to find something with heat and that has ABS, and preferably that's just a reliable car in general. Finding a car is expensive. Maintaining a car is expensive, and maintaining two cars, as you'd expect, is twice as expensive, because you do have to do 2 oil changes. You have to do two of everything, pretty much. Any maintenance you have to do double. So you want to find a car that has pretty much no reliability issues, that you're not going to have to keep fighting with and keep putting money into it, as you don't want to spend, as it's not your primary concern. You'd rather save that money to put into car mods and whatnot when your nice car comes back out. That's pretty much all you're looking for, like the main few things. I don't know if there's anything else, but
just try to spend as less money as possible. Yeah,
the least amount of money, the best. You don't have to spend a lot, and you don't have to really take care of your car unless you're trying to make it a rally car, but that's a different story. But pretty much your winter car is just your beater. Everyone likes to have a beater because you don't have to worry about getting your main car broken in any way. So
worry about getting it scratched when you're driving on the road or anything.
No scratches, no rust, no nothing. So just be happy that it's a beater and find something you don't have to put too much money into.
So technically, this Volvo is a 5-speed automatic transmission. As Marcus said, it's better if you have an automatic transmission if you're not as experienced in manual. But I also let my Nana use this car quite often because, I mean, I broke her Mazda, so you kind of just have to go with that. And so with this car as well, it has an inline 5, which I never knew about. Thought it was a 4-cylinder, and it's got front-wheel drive. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the all-wheel. It's a 2.5-liter turbo, so it gets off the line pretty quickly. It's got 208 horsepower with 236 foot-pounds of torque. And I guess the gas is decent. It's got 10 liters per 100 kilometers, which isn't bad, but it also takes 91 premium. So that's a solid $75 Canadian from empty at $1. The gas is at $1. So
yeah, gas has been pretty expensive recently, so it is hard to drive a premium fuel car in the winter. You want to find something with decent gas mileage. You want to spend the least amount of money as possible.
So you don't want to buy a car that takes premium. Like,
no,
this one doesn't even recommend anything lower. It just says it has to take premium. So yeah, that's not.
You pretty much want something with regular gas that has really good mileage on it. That's not going to break your bank. In your opinion, how has this car been so far in the last 3-4 months of winter?
Well, Bill, I'm happy you asked me that. Thanks. Yeah, so when I bought this car, I was looking for one because the Jetta was time to go. It was getting destroyed. It had an oil light on. The engine wasn't going to last long. It had, I think it was, I forget what kind of metal, but the engine was deteriorating into the oil pan and everything. It wasn't good. So my mechanic asked me if I was looking for any cars. He showed me this one. Everybody in my family and household, including Marcus, said that it was a good car to look at. It was reliable. Depending if what was going wrong with it, it would be expensive. But my mechanic safetied it for me, did all the things that it needed to be done, like all the work, the struts, the ball joints and everything in the front for no charge because of, like, I've known him forever. And so the car came with snow tires, both on alloys, and then the summers came on alloys as well. I would have preferred all-wheel drive, but this car just came as it is. It is a reliable car. It's not bad, but I kind of like it. It's nice. It's smooth.
Yeah, it has everything pretty much you need, other than the gas mileage. But
and the manual transmission. Yeah, taking a shot at me.
Other than that, it's not a bad car.
You're better at manual than I am.
I'm not saying that, dude. I'm not trying to say that.
Trying.
We already know. I'm not gonna say that.
Oh, we do know? Okay, so it's me.
We haven't even raced yet. We haven't actually raced it yet.
Well, my car's not gonna beat you. Your car's faster.
That's why I want to do it.
Features.
So this car comes with Bluetooth already installed because it is an aftermarket deck, which I'll show you around the interior in 1 second. But it has an aftermarket deck. It has heated seats, it has winter tires, it has winter mats, it has ABS, it
also
has heated.
A sick head crusher too.
Yeah,
headache maker is my opinion.
It has ABS, it has heated everything, pretty much everything you need. It has memory seats. It's a lot more than you'd. It's a lot more than you'd expect as a winter beater, and it's also extremely spacious. So if he wants to go snowboarding or any winter activities, he has the room to store everything. His favorite part, and I agree, when we first brought his brother in this car, one of the best features of this car is the headrest in the back. So this car does have a head crusher button. I accidentally clicked it, but I don't know what it does, what's the purpose of it, neither does Kale, but the back headrests, so when you click it, the back headrests for some reason just do this. If anyone in the comments knows why that happens, let me know or let us know, because we're both very curious. The only guess we have is the fact that the visibility of the rear windshield is not great when they're up. They're pretty much blocking the entire thing. So, not really sure what the point of it is, but it is a thing, and I don't really know. So, as we said, this car does come with an aftermarket deck, which is beautiful, as we can...
movies on it.
Yeah, you can watch movies, you can pretty much do everything you want to do with it, instead of having the 2006 Volvo gross interior with the tape recorder and blah, blah, blah. But it came with the aftermarket deck, so you can listen to your own music. It has all the heated features that you'd want to have. It has a winter control button, which is amazing. It's just winter driving mode, so it lowers your torque and your RPM at all times, just so you don't lose traction. It has heated seats, it has all of the window defrost and everything. Car drives beautifully. Right now there's 260 on it for 260,000 kilometers, which is not a lot. The car can last a lot longer as long as it's taken care of, but everything at this point in time is working beautifully, and I think that's a big thing everyone should look for in their winter car. As you are going to be driving it for 6 or so months out of the year, make sure you enjoy it. Make sure it has some of the features you want to have, and the luxury features that you're not going to pretty much miss every season.
So, the pros to this Volvo, Marcus doesn't believe me, but I think it's always a win, is that it's turboed. It's got a turbo in it. It's real nice. Takes off real quickly. The second one is that it's reliable. Everybody tells me that Volvos, when you buy them, they will never break. And when they do, that's when it's freaking expensive. But we'll leave that for a later issue. The next one is that it's very comfortable. It's like having a lazy boy on wheels. This is the second most comfortable car that I've ever driven in, other than his G37. The other one is that it's a beater car. Obviously, we already went over all those topics. It's really, really easy to not care about a car when you don't spend a lot of money on it. Like, you don't care about the scratches, the rust, the salt. I mean, you keep it up to shape because you got to drive it, but I mean, some of the parts you don't care for. The other part is that it's easy to drive. Anybody can drive a car. Like, I took my sister, she's learning to drive. I took her the other day. She learned to drive in this car, and she said it was the best experience she had. It was easy to take off. It doesn't like jolt at you. It doesn't do that kind of stuff.
Smooth.
Yeah. It's really spacious. Like, the trunk is huge. Like Marcus said, you can fit the snowboard and stuff, all that. I mean, if I'm 6'3", so putting anybody in the back of me is not a good idea. But, you know, it has the ABS, which, I mean, I guess is a win. Like, who needs that in the winter, but whatever. And the other one is that it's heated seats. The front seats get you real nice, and there's no heated back, so it sucks for people sitting back. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for this car. For the pros, I guess, because it's just nice.
So the few cons with this car is Kale wanted a manual, but it is automatic, so he has to kind of live with it. It's, again, driver's choice, but he wanted a manual, came with an automatic, didn't want to fight too hard, as it is a good car for the rest of it. Same with another small detail is he doesn't like the beige interior. I don't think it's that bad, especially because you're only driving it for a couple months of the year and you're not showing it off, but those are the nitpicky things a lot of people will look for, and honestly, getting by them is a big part of just getting a car and enjoying it for the winter. So the previous owners did smoke in the car, which is a pain just because you can always smell it. It sticks to all the fabrics, and
especially leather.
Yeah, getting in the car for the first time was brutal. I almost wore a respirator the entire drive home just because it was bad. The car also, the locks freeze in the winter, which is one big thing you really should look for, especially in a winter car when it hits like -25. But at like -4, you called me because the locks were frozen in the parking lot. So that is one thing you want to look for, is make sure everything works and there is no winter issues with the car. The e-brake doesn't really lock up as well as it should. I think one of the wheels you said doesn't lock.
Yeah,
the other one does.
The left.
So you want to find an e-brake that will lock, especially if you're trying to have fun in a parking lot and try and drift.
Okay, you can't buy a winter car if you're not gonna either buy front wheel, all wheel, or rear wheel and not drift it in the snow. That's against the law in any car.
True. That is true.
You can't just buy it and say, e-brake doesn't work.
The next thing is the car is, as we talked on, what is expensive on gas, which is again a pain just because you don't want to have to spend that much money on this car and having to lose a lot of extra mileage because you're slipping and sliding over the roads. Just a pain to go fill it up for more money than you're supposed to. So the car is also front wheel drive, which you're not looking for in the winter. As I said, you're just gonna understeer. It's harder to catch traction, but it's not that bad because this car is heavy, but the car is also low. So you pick up a lot of ice, you'll scrape. There's a lot of issues, especially anytime there's ice buildup. Going over it, it could scratch up the undercarriage of the car, but it is what it is at this point. That's pretty much all the cons with the car. There's not too many serious ones. There's nothing
major with the car. Like I said, everything was fixed when we bought it. That was kind of like the cost into it. The car was like $3,200, and everything that was fixed was included, so it wasn't too bad. I mean, so were the winters, I guess. But there's like steps to buying a winter car. You gotta go. You can't go. Rear wheel drive is the worst, and then front wheel is the second best, and all wheel is the best, depending if you had traction.
So for this new series of pretty much reviewing my friend's winter cars, we're going to be doing ratings at the end of them. I've never done this before on the channel, but we made a couple categories to go through. We're going to review it, and then I'm going to add up the total at the end, and then we'll compare all the cars at the end of the season and figure out which one was the best. So reliability, we gave it a 5, as it did have a lot of problems when he first picked it up, but again, because it's from a family friend, they pretty much covered all the costs of it. Other than that, there's been really no issues. Traction, we gave it an 8 out of 10 because he got new tires and it doesn't slip and slide as much as you'd expect it to because it is heavy, it sticks, and it's honestly pretty good all around. Comfort, we gave it a 9 because these seats are ridiculously comfortable. It's like sitting in a lazy boy. It's nice and soft.
Yeah, you'd be able to drive 10 hours and not feel
exactly. The drive is smooth. There's no problems. Even in the winter icy road where you'd expect it to bump and shudder and whatnot, it drives pretty smooth, so you can't really complain about that. So we gave it a 9. For features, we gave it an 8 out of 10, again, because it does have pretty much everything you need and a little bit that you'd want, such as the Bluetooth aftermarket speaker. It has the heated seats and all of that. So we gave it an 8, as I felt like if
it didn't have any of that, it would be a solid 2 because it is a 2006 Volvo. They look like they had a cell phone for a freaking center console.
Yeah,
but,
it wasn't anything crazy.
No.
The last part is fun factor. We gave it a 6 because the thing is a boat to drive. Doesn't really matter how fast it is, as it's winter and you're gonna lose traction if you try and gun it anywhere. There's really nothing going for it. You're just kind of driving to drive. It's automatic. E-brake doesn't work, so you can't drift. So in all the categories, they would equal up to 50. We gave this car a 36 out of 50. It seems fair. It's not too bad, but there's nothing honestly that excels more than the average car other than comfort. So yeah, the car now got a 36 out of 50. That's where the bar is going to be set, and I think that's where we're going to end this video. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like. It helps me and the channel out a lot. If you want to see more of my content, please feel free to subscribe, as again, it helps me and the channel out a lot. And hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.